It's spooky season, but you know what's not scary? That's a great Android podcast player, and that is the Podcast Republic app, available on the Google Play Store. Thousands of good reviews, folks. Thousands of good reviews on that store. You download the app, you favorite your shows, they download right to your device. It's that easy. It's straightforward. You've heard me talk about it. Go see it for yourself. The Podcast Republic app on the Google Play Store. Welcome to Dissecting the 80s. I am Tripp Lano, one half of the Mega Podcasting Powers. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner, a man who definitely, upon seeing the world ending, would head straight to the mall. That's right, the one and only Macho Mandrew.
Andrew Lano. And I know my Robin Sparkles. I know you go. Let's go to the mall today.
Yes. But that show's a dumpster fire. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about a movie that I actually liked for once.
This is news to me.
What's that?
You didn't like that show?
I liked that show until the finale, and the finale made me so mad that every time it would be a show that should totally play for me as like dumb reruns. I watched every episode of How I Met Your Mother, and then the finale was so bad that I got angry at the show, and like now I see it, and all I can see when I see those characters is the ending and how mad I was. I've never been more mad at the end of a television show. Like I know for most people it was Lost, but I jumped off Lost season 1 because I was like, I thought this was going to be like people surviving on an island, and there's all kinds of weird spooky stuff here. And I did not come for that.
Why? Heck, like, can I have the 30-second why?
Okay,
I mean, so
spoilers
curious.
for How I Met Your Mother, but from Jump Street, from literally the pilot, they're like, Robin is not the mother. Like, this show is not about Ted and Robin. So, like, over the course of it, they like get them together and they break them up and they get them together. And all the fans are like, these people make sense together. But the dudes, because they wrote the end of the episode, like they wrote the finale basically the second after they wrote the pilot, had like come up with something different. So the whole time it's like, it's not Robin.
Yeah, because those kids, the young boy that he's talking to grew up to be like a Disney Channel star. And so like grew the hell up. So I think they filmed them like right after.
Yeah. So you watch this show for like 10 years that it's on television or whatever the hell it is. And then we get to the final season, which was a train wreck. They were like, okay, it basically became 24 where like every episode was like in real time practically because they were at the wedding. Did you not ever see it?
Not the final season. I know what happens, but I kind of fell off that wagon.
Okay. So they do this stupid final season, which culminates with like Ted meets the mother at the wedding, like she was in the band or something, and it's like, oh, and that kid's How I Met Your Mother. And then it becomes, oh, by the way, I've been telling you this story forever because she just died of cancer, like, or whatever disease she had, don't at me. And she just died, and the kids are like, but Dad, clearly you've always been in love with Aunt Robin. And then he like runs and meets with her and they get together. And it's like, okay, this woman didn't want to have children. And so it's really shitty that the ending of the show is that she just like changes her mind and is like, I guess I'll be the adoptive parent to these children. I guess they're older, but still.
Yeah, they're like in their teens. They're at
the point where it's like the really hard work of like diaper changing and stuff that most people don't want to do is over.
The formative years. You're just there to help with math.
You're getting to the finish line. But still, like if you really didn't want to have kids, okay, that annoyed me. And secondarily, the fact that like she married his friend, like she married one of his best friends and then they got a divorce and then he ends up getting together with her. Like that friendship would not be repairable, I don't think.
It was Barney, right?
Yeah. Anyway, the ending made me so mad that I like hate the show. So
weird, because Let's Go to the Mall still slaps, y'all.
No, I mean there's funny bits on the show. Don't get me wrong, and Jason Segel I love, but that show I'm just like, oh,
and Willow
bastards. Yeah, no. We normally do this at the end, but I think everybody fast forwards it, so I'm gonna do it right now. We got a review from B Woch, W-O-C-H, Woch, B Woch 99 from the United States of America. These guys are awesome. They're very funny and they play off each other well. You can tell they're brothers. Great podcast to support. I've been binge listening all the shows. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, BWalk99.
Joke's on you. We're not real brothers.
5-star review. I have something to say here, and I know I've been very nice about this for 5 years, so I'm going to try being a little bit curmudgeonly here. We know how many of you are listening to the show. We see the numbers. Okay, this is according to a new website that I don't know if I trust. The 1,437th most popular comedy podcast in the United States. Top 30 in Trinidad and Tobago in film reviews. And top 200 in the United States in film reviews. Top 200. The last review we got before this one, which was September 17th, was December of 2018. You all can do better than that. I know that you can do better than that. Those reviews help boost us up the rankings. We get boosted up the rankings. More people listen to the show. More people listen to the show. We get to be all nice and famous podcasters doing live shows, touring the country, selling merch, all these things you all want. So review the show. Open your thing and review the show. It doesn't take that much effort. It's preferable in iTunes, but we'll take it wherever. Send us a screenshot. dissectingthe80s@gmail.com. It takes 1 minute. Not even 1 minute. Don't be lazy. Support your friends. Me and Andrew, your friends, your podcast friends. You listen to us twice a month for like 3 hours a month. Just take a minute and help us, okay? I'm being a little curmudgeonly. I'm trying a different tactic. I've been nice. Now I'm going to be a little curmudgeonly, okay?
Ease up there, Statler.
So just do it. Just do it, you lazy bastards. We watched Night of the Comet, which is celebrating its 35th anniversary, and we're kicking off the Spooktacular 2019. Also, if you normally skip the song, maybe don't this time. Might be a little treat for you. Just saying. But we watched Night of the Comet, so you know what that means.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go dissect the 80s. It's your empowered badass ladies of the 80s. Something's gonna be done about you empowered badass ladies of the 80s.
When the mecha powers explode.
I'm talking about the 80s. Oh, yeah.
Great Scott!
Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Mega power, yeah! When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Also, something has to be done about them? It seems like Doc's a little bit like a little backwards in his thinking, maybe.
Or maybe it's let's bring them here and get a template going so we can get more of this shit.
Yeah, maybe. This movie.
I hope you guys enjoyed the shaped Reese's cup version of our theme song, the bat-shaped Reese's cup.
Yeah.
We have to do a Christmas tree shaped one next.
That's a new Spooktacular edition. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I took some time to make that.
I have a gripe. Speaking of Reese's cups.
Okay.
So
this is a tangent-filled podcast. I didn't expect it to be, but okay.
So I was at Target looking at all the candies, and they had your bats and your pumpkins shaped Reese's cups, and then it says new monster shapes. Okay. And I look at it, they are goddamn Easter egg shapes. It's just that the wrapper looks like a monster. Oh. It's just an Easter egg. You have a surplus of Easter eggs, and you're trying to offload them in the Halloween season, and I'm not okay with it.
Can I give you a hot take?
Sure.
I prefer a regular Reese's cup to a shaped like a thing Reese's.
False.
No, I like the hard chocolate edge, and I know it makes me a minority, but I think the combo is what makes that candy better.
No, I think the best ratio is in the shapes.
But it's more peanut butter than chocolate.
Yeah, to me that is the right ratio.
So this is my second hot take. I don't love Reese's peanut butter.
Really?
I'd like the Reese's cup, but if you were to give me like a sandwich that was like a peanut butter sandwich that was Reese's peanut butter all dry and crumbly, I think I'd be disappointed.
Well, yeah, but it's mixed with the chocolate.
Right, but I'm saying I don't like the extra. Like you give me the larger cup, the bat, the tree, the monkey, whatever it is. It's too much. Yeah, it's the National Rhesus Day. Rhesus, like Rhesus monkey.
I got it. I liked it.
Yeah, it's a Rhesus Reese's. You can have that idea, Hershey Co.
That's the Rhesus like something Reese's. From Pushing Daisies.
Oh, no, I feel like it'd be a commercial from like 1992 where it's like this, like that's a Rhesus. No, that's a Rhesus. No, that's a Rhesus. No, that's a Rhesus. And then in the background, the Rhesus monkeys are like eating all of the peanut butter cups.
No, they're dipping a chocolate bar into a jar of peanut butter.
Yes. And then they have to put out a retraction because like kids are throwing peanut butter cups into the monkey cages at the zoo, and they're all getting diabetes. And Rhesus, you cannot really do the Rhesus Reese's. The Rhesus Reese's was a bit for a thing. It wasn't even that good. So, I prefer that. And also, double hot take.
Uh-oh.
If you have an Aldi near you, they have these bags of peanut butter cups that are, one, already unwrapped, so it really just helps you mainline these bad boys. You can just handful them.
That's the ticket.
The chocolate is a little bit higher quality than a Reese's, and the peanut butter is very smooth and creamy, and I find it to be incredibly delicious. Also, the Trader Joe's dark chocolate cups, very good.
They are good. I do like a Trader Joe's dark cup.
But the Aldi ones are also dirt friggin' cheap, which of course you know I love. It's like $2.39. Yeah, it's $2.39 for a bag of these, like almost a pound of Reese's cups, and you could just like chomp those bad boys down.
Now, are they
the small size?
Okay,
like
so the miniatures,
the ones foil that you make those cookies with. Yes, the foil wrapped ones.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't sure if they were talking like the so small they're like they belong in trail mix.
No. These are the mini, which I honestly think might be the perfect Reese's size in terms of chocolate to peanut butter ratio. That's what I prefer.
Okay, it's such a pain in the ass to you have to unwrap them all.
Hence the Aldi win, because you just pop the zipper top and then you're into Snacktown, baby. Before you know it, you got 22 of those things down your gullet, and you're like, oh, my hands are shaking a little bit.
I'm gonna have to check these out.
I highly recommend.
This has been Rapping About Reese's.
Yes. We are now 12 minutes into this recording, and we have said the name of the movie one time and nothing else about it. So really good start. I genuinely like this movie.
It's so good.
Yes. Okay.
It's such a good movie.
So I picked this for two reasons. One, I was looking to do some anniversaries just because that felt like fun to me. So our next movie is also an anniversary. But also, I heard that this was like some inspiration for Buffy, and having watched it, Joss Whedon definitely ripped this off.
Yeah, I 100% see it. So I haven't seen the original Buffy in 1,000 years, so...
You're super good.
I love the show.
Kristy Swanson is a real psycho.
Like in real life or in the movie?
She's an outspoken political activist now.
That's a bummer. You know, it's just like Dion from Clueless. Yeah, no, I know. Dion from Clueless also...
Yes. But also, she's, just, it's not very good. It's not a very good movie. The Buffy movie is not very good. Anyway, other than the Pee-wee character, which I think is kind of fun. Side note. I know we're doing too many of these. I watched American Werewolf in London with some friends, and they were like completely unaware that there used to be pornographic theaters. Like, just, they didn't know that it was ever a thing.
And so what did they think happened to Pee-wee?
Well, they didn't know the Pee-wee story, but that's why I got but that's right. That was literally the whole conversation. It's like, yeah, they had porn theaters. Also, by the way, Pee-wee Herman. How messed up is it that like the dude was just like watching some pornography, and like, that's what went down in those theaters, right? Like, I never went to a porn theater, but I have to imagine if you went to a porn theater, that's pretty much what was going on in the porn theater, because why else would they exist?
Yeah, it was either gay dudes being sneaky in a dark theater, pretending that, like, with straight porn, or just, like, dudes jerking off.
And, like, I don't know.
You're in a porn theater.
Right. Like, it seems like he was in the right place to do this thing. And it's just really crazy that we were like, oh, Pee-wee's into the depths of hell. The one that I find fascinating is Fred Willard, just because it happened so far after I thought porn theaters still existed. So I was just like, where did you find a porn theater?
The same thing happened to Fred Willard?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. In like the 2000s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it a theater or like a back room with a viewing with like cubby holes?
I think if it was that, there's no way you would have gotten arrested, right?
I guess.
Presumably like a little private enclosure. They're like, we know what you're doing in there. That's what you're paying for.
I don't have a law degree.
Nor do I, nor have I ever visited one of these spaces. I just am like, if that was where you were going. Anyway, let's talk about Night of the Comet, because it's a good movie, and we're doing all sorts of weird bullshit here.
We basically get the opening narration to Little Shop of Horrors, except less clear.
See, I was thinking Haunted Mansion from Disney. He's got that like rich timbre voice where there's a little bit of this rattle and hum.
It is the same voice.
It's literally the same voice?
No, you haven't. You haven't seen Little Shop in a long time or ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought I remembered Little Shop having a song to open it.
No, on the 21st day of the month of September.
Okay.
And then it leads into Little Shop.
Is that really the day?
The 21st. I think it's the 23rd or the 21st day.
It's on the equinox?
Yes.
Okay.
So I love a lot about this movie. I wish we got I either need 20% more information about the comet or 10% less information about the comet.
Oh, interesting. Because I thought this was perfect. Where the narrator comes in, he's like, "The comet is coming, and the whole planet is doomed, save for a few lucky souls." I was like, "Boom, perfect. I'm in." That's all I needed.
I don't know. I would have I wanted a little less explanation or more. I thought it needed something.
We go right from the narration into this absolute banger of a song that totally slaps, as the kids say, right?
As I just said.
Yes. Really good songs in this movie. Really delightful 80s.
This
they're all
movie
fake
is great.
bullshit. They're all fake stupid nonsense, but they're great.
Except for Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
But it's a cover, so it's fake stupid nonsense.
I know, but still.
So we have this montage-y opening bit. This guy's selling Dealy Bopper headbands.
I was gonna ask you, what are those? Is that a name that they're actually called, or is that just what our family calls them?
That is the actual name of that thing.
Okay.
I literally had the same exact thought of Dealy Boppers. Is that what those are called? What are those called? And I Googled headband with bobbly things, and it was Dealy Bopper.
I was I feel that's in my brain. I think Aunt Donnie just called them those, and so
we may be the only people on the face of the earth whose family calls them by their official product name.
Maybe. And we see our lead lady,
Regina.
Yes, Reg. I thought it was interesting that the girls had theme park show names that are sort of gender neutral. So, Reg and Sam.
So you know what I think?
It was written for boys?
Part of me thinks this was written for boys. It was two brothers, and the person who bought it was nah, let's flip that. In an interesting way.
I'm not mad about that, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. She's playing a video game, and it honestly, old video games...
it might be Asteroid.
No. Asteroids, okay. Isn't Asteroid the one where you're just in the middle of the screen and you spin around and you shoot and the asteroids come towards you?
I guess you're right.
All old, any 80s video game that is not a name people would recognize just all looked like Seizure City.
There's a lot of flashing lights.
Unclear what's happening, flashing lights.
So she sets a high score and puts her name in, and then she sees someone has made their way into her high scores, and she's like, "Oh man, you sons of bitches! I'm gonna have to take care of this later."
And it becomes her white whale for the first third of the movie, and then don't worry, we'll wrap it up for you.
Yeah. Cut to Buck from Kill Bill, who's illegally selling a bootleg print of a movie.
Oh, that's Buck.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Almost assuredly, the reason why he's in that movie is because of this movie, because Tarantino, this is so in his weird wheelhouse.
Yes, it is. Oh, we should also mention that Reg was recently on the show in Weekend at Bernie's as the summer intern whose name escapes me.
Oh, she was the love interest?
Yeah, she was the love interest in Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, I totally did not.
You didn't
put
get that kind of Elizabeth Shue vibe from her?
A little bit, but no, yeah, the hair was different enough that it must have framed her face differently, and I just did not even get that.
I think it's because she was a blonde in Bernie, and she is a brunette in this one.
And isn't her hair less volumey in Bernie's?
Yeah, it's not as poofy as I thought it would be.
This has a real flowy action. Good cabbage. Yeah.
So
she's not coming to the Comet party that her
stepmom
is a stepmom. Okay, that her stepmom and dad are throwing, and the stepmom's real.
No, not the dad's. The dad's gone. Remember, the dad's away.
Oh yeah. Okay. But she's real mad that she's not coming, and then the comet comes, and we get this real trippy sky effect.
We also meet Reg's little sister Sam, who's the other lead.
Okay, so I was pretty sure that was her, but wasn't 100%.
Yes, no, that's Sam.
I was having some face blindness with this movie, apparently.
Yeah, we meet Sam. I love Sam's outfits in this movie. Like, I want them all. She's in this, like, mustard yellow, ketchup red workout outfit with a crop top and a leotard and leg warmers. And it's fabulous. And she
It's a real Lady Hulk Hogan ensemble.
It is. She fully calls her stepmom out on cheating on her dad while he's on military tour. And then they get into like a full-on slapping punching match.
Yeah, no, they really go wailing on each other.
Which sort of lends credence to the theory that maybe this was like two brothers and their dad.
Yep, exactly.
And then the comet happens, and it is an 80s laser show.
It's really cool looking, honestly. The only quibble I have about this section is I would have liked some people to like scream or something, because there's really no noise just some sound effecty noise of like the people dusting, because they look up at the sky.
I liked that we didn't know.
Yeah, I would have liked just some noise that something was happening, because later like they cut down and it's this really cool effect where it's just people's clothes and then red sand.
Mm-hmm. I think it was actually brick dust.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. But it's like super great atmosphere. Like you just see these the set like decoration of this is so great with just like piles of these clothes all over the place.
Yeah, we cut right from this like cheesy 80s light laser show to this perfect spooky red atmosphere. The sky is red. It feels very like red and smoggy. There's clothes strewn about. It's really well done.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And Buck and Reg spent the night in the projection booth, which they either right as they wake up or right before they go to bed say is like a perfect steel-lined booth for some reason or another. Was it bomb shelter, or was it just... Oh, no, it was because the film stock used to be so flammable, they wanted to be able to contain it into that room.
Yeah. So Buck goes outside to try and get the film that he illegally lent, like loaned to someone.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything. I'm a big giant idiot, but it seems like it would have been pretty challenging to copy the film.
I don't think he copied. I think he just
he says he makes a copy.
Oh, I thought he was just like, you're going to play the film tonight.
Right. No, he says he's going to make a copy of it.
Oh, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that seems like essentially impossible.
But also, I don't know how to copy I never knew how to copy a VHS tape onto another VHS tape.
Well, you needed either two VCRs or a double deck VCR.
Cool.
That's a pretty simple operation. But this is a film, like a real film with REEL film. And
this zombie, he opens the door and a zombie gets him real good with a wrench.
Yeah, the zombies can talk and have like fine motor skill. They're just like crazy people. They're kind of like the crazies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're a little like crazies. There's sort of an implication that they eat people.
Oh, he definitely is eating Buck.
But it's not like explored.
No, but the zombies also aren't that in the movie that long. They also remind me of not just the crazies and that,
Land
but
of the
also Dead. I mean, yes, but that was what I was getting to. The Omega Man with Charlton Heston.
Oh, the original I Am Legend?
The second I Am Legend. The Vincent Price one is from the third, or before that.
I forgot there was a Vincent Price one.
Right. So there's the Vincent Price one. There's the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, which had full frontal nudity, even though it was rated PG, which was really exciting for 12-year-old
dude.
Nope.
Lady nudity?
Lady nudity, yeah.
Not dudity?
Not dudity. Unlike American Werewolf in London, by the way, which is like full nudity all over the place.
Is it?
You see all of David Naughton. Tip to tails.
That's extra funny because you're talking about a dude talking about nudity.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that now.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a lot of butt, and like, oh, that is the front side, and wow, that's what he looks like, huh? Alrighty then.
That's happened to me in two shows recently. Tales of the City. I was like, oh, we're gonna see some butt, and then all of a sudden I was like, that's a penis. And then
I'm imagining you in a quiet theater. I'm imagining you in a quiet theater, just like suddenly yelling up, "That's a penis!"
Handful of Cheetos popcorn on the Whoa!
That's a penis.
The other one was Penny Dreadful.
I'm so hard at my own joke, but it's really just what you said that's funny. Sorry. You could say the other one now.
The show Penny Dreadful, like the pilot episode, and then the second episode, I'm like, there's just dongs everywhere.
Oh, when you said show, I thought you meant like public, like
like a play. No.
That's why it was so funny to imagine you yelling that out, like you're in row 4. So like, oh, that's a penis.
No, I would internally, but no TV shows.
Meanwhile, as Buck is being killed, Reg is playing her game, and I do have a minor quibble here. She plays the game one time and knocks the 7th score out, and that's not how leaderboards work.
Well, I was curious. I was going to ask about that because it almost looks like she gets to rewrite his name.
Exactly, which isn't what happened. She would have gone, I guess if she got the exact same score, I don't know how the game would handle it, and maybe she's good enough at the game that she just did that. But normally it would just replace him, and he would go down to 8, and she'd be 7th. Like she would have had to do it 3 times.
She would have had to like really sink a lot of quarters into that game.
Yeah.
So she reaches over the counter and grabs some Twizzlers and is like, I'm going to explore, which is my kind of lady.
And then she makes a real stupid move. She puts a round trash can in the door to wedge it open. And I'm like, just lay it down. Just lay it down. Like you just lay it down like a cigar and put it in there. And then it won't do the thing that you see that it's going to happen from a mile away.
Well, but then she also works there. So she knows that she's going to be the one to have to clean up the trash anyways.
Yeah, but like, so what? You be guaranteed not to be locked out of the building.
So she gets locked out. She sees there's no one around at all, and then she notices all the clothes on the ground, and I was like, you're not concerned enough about these clothes.
Yeah, she seems very nonchalant as she just like starts picking up random people's clothing covered in brick dust.
Like this either means there's a flock of naked people.
Yeah.
Or...
Which, like, hey, there's a penis. But also...
There's a penis! That might be our new t-shirt.
The Dudity podcast.
Oh my god.
Equal opportunity nakedness for all.
No one steal that. I want that one.
Or if you're an artist, get in touch. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, or it means there was a mass rapture or death.
Yes, rapture is the one that would come to mind for me immediately. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I would be like, oh shit, they were right. Like, whoops, guess I missed that train.
But then I'd be like, there's no way everyone's, like, good, right? Like, not everyone gets to go up, right?
I don't think it's good. I think it's, like, practicers.
Oh, I was assuming rapture was, like, the good people get yoinked.
I mean, yeah, but I think it's, like, more that they're in the club. I think you can be good and not get yanked. I think you have to be good and in the club.
Oh, okay.
She finds Buck's keys alongside a bloody wrench, and then her hands are all covered in blood. And at this point, the zombie pops out and threatens her a little bit. They have a little bit of a fight. I'm glad it's not a kung fu fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a fisticuffs, and then she drives away. But she's a total badass. She is. She rules.
She fights off this zombie. The zombie, by the way, was definitely eating a hunk of Ken. We touched on that earlier. But
yeah.
But then there's some really cool shots. They must have filmed this at like just as the sun was coming up in Los Angeles because there's just nobody anywhere. But including one really creepy shot where there's a car like idling on the road, just like stopped in the median, just going.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's a good thing that guy put his car in park before he got dusted.
Yeah. There should have been more cars on the road, I think. Like, just crashed all over the place.
Yeah, I would think so. But then again, also, I guess the idea was, like, everyone was stopped to look at this that's phenomenon.
That's a good point. She's on a motorcycle, by the way. So there's, like, really cool shots of her hair, like, blowing and stuff. We didn't mention that it's a motorcycle. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. She's a badass. I love her. They didn't explain why some people dusted and some people became zombies.
They didn't, but my fill-in-the-blank theory, which I think is probably close to accurate, is like it depends on how much exposure you had. Because later with the scientists, we find out they're like sort of exposed and they're like slowly turning.
Yeah, but again,
so
like if you're gonna have scientists who are studying the phenomenon in your movie, they can have a 10-second line of dialogue.
Yeah. She could have the conversation with Reg about like, oh, you must have been protected because of X. Although I will say this, the scientists only die because there was ventilation into the lab.
That it's so stupid. It's very like Scooby-Doo.
But also, there was ventilation into where all of Reg and Sam and Hector were.
Reg, yes, not necessarily Sam and Hector.
Sam was in a shed. It's not an airtight cube.
Yeah.
She wasn't in a Tupperware. And same with Hector.
She needed a sardine key to get out of there.
Right, exactly. She just crank. But same with Hector. And I think all of them, they were in airtight things. So I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, I was like, you could have your main character scientist. Why are some people dust piles and some people zombies?
Yeah, exactly. And the scientists could have just been partially exposed in a different way. They were like, "Oh, we all saw it," and then it was through tinted glass, so we
saw it through glass, so we thought we'd be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Bird Box. Yes, Bird Box.
Wait, is that what they do in the movie?
There's a part of Bird Box because the whole thing is
I read the book that's not in it.
The idea is if you look at this monster, it makes you want to kill yourself, basically. Yeah. And so at one point they're in someone's house and he has security cameras and he's like...
the cameras. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, hey, if I look at it through a camera, maybe it won't do anything. Plot twist, it does something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we could have done something along those lines.
Yeah, I get you now.
And then, so she goes home and we see Sam in a cheerleading outfit that I want so bad.
And she's just casually on the way to cheer practice, even though she has not seen another person alive, and her entire yard, which she slept in, is just covered in people's clothes and brick dust.
And no one has answered the phone.
Right.
She's in this they're the literal Barbie colors. They're magenta and turquoise cheer outfit, and she's just snapping her gum, pouring a bowl of cereal, whatever.
Yeah, she's very nonchalant about this whole thing. And then they decide to hop in the car and go to the radio station because the radio station still seems to be working, which I thought was a clever idea, frankly.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the DJ, we can go there. He's alive.
Yeah.
I didn't I wanted to see a little more of Reg's connection between the piles of dust and dead people.
Yes.
Because
I don't think she's there yet.
She's the one who explains it to Sam.
Right, but I don't...
She goes in the front lawn
at the radio station.
No, it's before they go to the radio station. She's on the front lawn, and she's like, you want to see our stepmom? And she picks up the clothes. She's like, this is our stepmom. And she picks up a shoe. Like, this is the man she was going to bone down with, and dumps dust out of the shoe. And so I was like, wait a minute. 2 minutes ago, you were like, oh, people leaving clothes everywhere. And now you're these are people.
Right. She does get there quickly. But you also, it's we got an 85-minute movie. We gotta get to the point.
You can afford the extra 5 minutes.
No, I agree.
I'm not gonna begrudge you an extra 5 minutes to explain a few things.
Yeah, you could have taken this to 93 probably. So they drive to the radio station and they meet Hector, who Star Trek Voyager fans will know as Chakotay? I'm not sure how you say it. I never watched Voyager, but he was on all of that. So, and
they find out the DJ is all pre-recorded stuff that they have queued up.
Let me be clear. I think the world in which we all walk around with computers in our pockets is infinitely better from a technological standpoint. But boy, do I love watching old technology in movies.
It's so cool.
It looks like this machine looks like the kind of machine that after a day of work, it deserved a beer.
It basically, the way it's all the tapes are clicking on and off and the things are swimming around. I half wanted to hear Pee-wee's Big Adventure with the Rube Goldberg with the breakfast.
Yeah. No, I just this machine looks like it works so hard. And I think that's the problem with your modern computer and why we get so frustrated is they look so sleek and cool. And then when they don't work, you're like, bah! Whereas this machine, if it didn't work, you're like, yeah, no crap, it doesn't work. Look how hard it has to do, how move and click and clack to do anything. It's like, hey, you want a Corona, my friend? How about a nice fresh lime in there? You look like you deserve a break.
So yeah, the Hector's there, and then
he pulls a gun on them and is like, I need to see your eyes.
And he's like, yeah, those zombies, whatever, eat people. And then Reg is like, oh, my boyfriend's defo dead. Yeah. And goes to the bathroom to cry. And then Hector is a patronizing a-hole and she has no time for him.
Yeah, I really like her just being like, hey, fuck off, buddy.
He's like, your sister's a cheerleader, and she's handling this better than you. And she's like, oh, that's cool, because she definitely has the wherewithal to comprehend everything that's happening around us right now. She's snapping her gum and was eating breakfast cereal this morning.
Not the time, Hector. Not the time.
And they cut back to Sam, and she's like, you know what? She's like clacking her gum, like, oh, she turns off the automatic thing, cranks up, just pushes all the levers on the soundboard, which that's not how that should work.
I don't know a lot about audio production, even though I run a podcast because mine's all digital, but I feel like you wouldn't want to do that to a soundboard.
No, well, also, if you only have one microphone, only one of those sliders is necessary.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I know enough about sound in the theater that...
Well, they could be wired to different things. One could be the tape deck, one could be the record player, blah, 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 blah.
No, but I mean, like, there should be labels.
There would have been labels at a radio station. Although it's so automated, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, the crazier thing about the fact that the station is so automated is that the whole station is decorated. There's like there's moving neon lights.
I think they took a break for the holidays. Or like the guy went home for the night or something like that. Because I think it's almost Christmas, right?
It is.
Okay. So yeah, I think it was just like, it was Comet night and he like went out there to do something. So she gets a phone call at the station and then like doesn't answer it or can't answer it in time or it gets cut off.
And it's some scientists in a compound that we then start to see.
It's a real Day of the Dead-esque bunker, by the way.
Well, I mean, I wrote that this is sort of Dawn of the Dead.
Yes,
in a radio
sort of
station.
Dawn and Day smooshed together.
Yeah.
And they go to the mall later.
They do. The scientists are listening, and the lady scientist is clearly at odds with the rest of the scientists, and we don't know why.
Right.
And
she claims there's no hope for survivors. She's like, it doesn't matter. We're all going to die.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Sam is driving a car and gets pulled over. And I was like, this is weird. Also, these police officers are definitely going to be zombies.
Yeah.
And they are, and it's a dream. And then she goes into the most 80s bathroom I've ever seen that, like...
It's a real cocaine bathroom.
I was going to say, like, I'm surprised there aren't marble ledges at, like, chest height for cocaine.
Yeah, it's a real cocaine bathroom. But it's interesting. I think the cop zombie makeup is so much cooler than the makeup in the guy that kills Buck.
I agree. Because they come back again and it's a double dream.
Right, right. So
we get
Hector's
the shoehorned romantic subplot because they're a man and a woman.
Well, to be fair, they're a man, the last man, and the last two women on Earth, as far as they know.
Yes, but like there are more pressing matters at hand than going to Bone Town.
Oh, I don't disagree. But Hector's like, hey, I got to go look for my family. And she's like, they're dead. And he's like, yeah, I know, but like I got to see it for myself. Like you got to see it for yourself. So let's not be, let's not act like one of us is better than the other here. And then we cut to Sam has an Uzi somehow.
No, she doesn't have an Uzi. Dad would have bought her an Uzi.
But she's holding what looks like an Uzi, so whatever it is, it's a small machine gun.
We don't know guns.
I mean, I know Uzi. I've played enough video games and watched enough action movies. I know what an Uzi looks like. It looks like an Uzi.
Yeah, well, because she improvised the line, Dad would have bought us an Uzi. Those things are better.
Okay, so she's probably wrong. It probably is an Uzi.
I don't know.
Again, I only know this from Commando-type movies, but she's just shooting the shit out of this car, like...
She is. Well, apparently they were all told, like, if anything goes wrong, please stay in character. We cannot afford reshoots or take twos. And so that's why she said that line, because her gun jammed, and she was like, I'm in character.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have bought us Uzis. Those things are way better.
Oh, interesting. That totally jives. This definitely feels like a movie where everybody is trying really hard, and you can, like, feel the effort and energy both behind the camera and in front of the camera.
It's like the first Halloween, how they were picking up painted leaves.
Yeah. But you can feel that effort. Like, it's funny how, like, there's a magic element too, right? Because, like, when you watch The Room, people obviously tried hard on that, and it was a huge epic fail. But here, you can feel that effort and energy in a positive way.
Yeah. The sisters also have really great chemistry together.
They do. I wonder if they made them hang out or if they chose to hang out a bunch because they seem like they would have been at least friends in real life.
Yeah, maybe. And then we also forgot to mention that Sam was on the show in Chopping Mall as our final girl.
That's right. Yeah.
So she's right at home in the mall.
Yeah, she's a mall queen, as it were.
And again, kind of a survivalist.
Yeah, weirdly so. There's also this weird, like, it gets dropped immediately, but she's, like, mad at Reg for being into Hector. She's like, it's the last man on Earth, and of course you steal him. And I was like, oh, really? Is this going to be part of this? And immediately they drop it. And I was just like, oh, so you just wanted me to think that you were going to do a dumb thing, huh? All right, movie. Okay.
This movie's real good.
Yeah, it is. Hector goes to his mom's house. He goes in there looking for her, and what do you know? There's a kid zombie inside, and
he also... So he's in his room packing shit up in a bag, like his Apocalypse Go bag. And one of the things he grabs is a small trophy that looks like a participation trophy. And like...
Maybe it was the big trophy at a poorly funded festival.
But like, if we're in the apocalypse, don't grab a trophy.
Yeah, probably not necessary.
We don't need that.
Yeah. Although
take only what you need to survive.
I feel like the asterisk on that is if it fits in a backpack and you're willing to carry it, like put more power to you, right? Like it's not like he's carrying like a 12-foot high trophy. It's like
he's not carrying the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, this must mean something to him, so I'll give it to you as long as you carry it.
And then you hear growling behind a door, and I was like, "That's your mom, bro. You're gonna have to shoot your mom in the face."
It would have been way better if he had to shoot his mom. I'll be honest, from a movie
I agree.
standpoint.
Or like his little brother, like it should have been a family member because it's just some neighborhood kid.
Right. And if it is going to be just a neighborhood kid, I wanted more shots where they just throw a dummy around. Like I wanted this dummy getting thrown into the television. I wanted this dummy getting thrown through a window or through those like real thin closet doors.
Oh, yeah.
Dummy like through some closet doors.
With the slats.
Uh-huh.
And so he drove there in a truck.
He took the back of the truck off, so he's just driving the cab of the 18-wheeler.
And when he leaves the house, he doesn't get back in the truck. He just runs down the street.
This is true, although I imagine the truck not like a great vehicle to drive.
You know what moves faster than a human on 2 feet?
This is true.
Literally anything with a motor and
all the other cars, and that's what it was. He saw all the traffic.
Oh, okay. We cut back to the scientists. We know they're evil somehow. We don't know how, but they're like, oh, we found survivors. We're bringing them to camp now. Come up and meet them. Knock off Sigourney Weaver. And they go topside, and it's like 2 kids in bathrobes with stuffed animals, and she clearly is upset about it. And like, you don't hear dialogue because the helicopter's going, but you can see in the action that's like they're fighting and she's mad about it. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, she's good. This actress is very good. She carries a lot of the weight of this movie. Like, it's not an emotional movie, but the emotional weight that exists in this movie is largely carried by her.
Yeah.
And she's struggling with her memory too. Like she's having trouble spelling and can't even spell basic words anymore.
Yeah, and like that's the kind of stuff I wanted to, the 2 minutes of exploration on. Like, what is it? Like, what exactly happens? Like, why is this? Why does that happen? Like, some people, Why does the dusting thing happen at all?
Right. So they do explain the dusting thing a little bit, and it's that the whatever happens when you see the comet like sucks all the moisture out of your body.
Oh, okay.
So the zombies are like the stages of that happening, and I guess it like makes your brain stop functioning correctly. But again, they don't explain any of this.
Yeah, the movie doesn't tell us that.
Right. We get this really bad cover of Girls Just Want to Have Fun to a shopping montage. Well, I guess a shoplifting montage if we're being technical. But is it shoplifting if no one is alive anymore?
Yeah, if money is a social construct that's fallen apart.
Yeah.
There's also a great moment, speaking of the emotional weight in a non-emotional movie, where Sam has this nice monologue about her old life before everything went to shit. And it's just like a really lovely moment.
Yeah, I think this movie is like excellently written for being something that was clearly written in like, a week and a half.
Well, because the writer consulted teenagers.
Oh, that makes sense.
He was like, hey, youthful girls, if the world ended, what would you do? And they were like really excited about the idea and like prattled on about a bunch of stuff. And he was like, well, wouldn't it be hard to get dates? And they were like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Which I think is why that there isn't a focus on, like, there's no, like, Katniss Everdeen, you know, all post-apocalyptic youth novels today are like, and then I kissed the boy under the moonlight.
Right. I mean, she does get together with Hector eventually, but it's kind of a circumstance thing.
Incidental, yeah. As they're trying stuff on, we see these creepy guys in a...
Actually, before we see the guys, I actually really like this, that you see the security cameras are moving, and it's like a real ominous thing, and it takes not too long before the payoff where you see the people, but it's enough that you're like, oh shit, and it builds just like a little bit of foreboding. It's really well shot.
Who's watching?
Yes, exactly. Because we don't necessarily know how functional the zombies are. Like, we saw that guy could talk, but, you know, this is a little different.
Yeah. And so they decide to, like, go after the girls. And we get a really stupid conversation where Sam is like, so if Hector did make a move on you, maybe he's gay.
Yeah.
I was like, valid.
Okay, all right. Is this where we're going to go? And then we get the F-bomb in the movie, of course.
We do. He's either a gentleman or an F-bomb.
Yeah. Like,
which
okay.
I
honestly,
laughed at.
the premise of her thing of like, okay, it's the end of the world. You're saying the one guy left alive is a gentleman, I think is like pretty funny, especially given like the world that, you know, that we exist in. It's like, yeah, it's probably accurate. And so like her point of being like, there's no way he's a gentleman, so he's got to be gay, is like not the most insane logical point I've ever heard anyone get to.
No, and her delivery I think is hilarious.
Yes, yeah.
Of this line. So the creepy guys go over to the loudspeaker and they steal Sam's gun before she can get to it, but Reg still has her gun. And there's this cool standoff moment. But then, to distract them, Sam throws shoes at them.
Yeah.
And I was like, Sam, grab the La Crusade. Like, start throwing
run.
Frying pans.
Right. Or just run.
Well, no, like, you want to save your sister.
I thought Sam throws the shoes as she's being kidnapped.
No, so the guys are in the middle. Reg is on one side, Sam is on the other, and when they're shooting at Reg...
This is before Reg gets the hostage.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking of the different section. Okay. I also really like this standoff section where Reg has a prisoner and the head of the punk zombies has a prisoner in Sam, and he's like, I can't let you take a hostage. And she's like, well, I already took a hostage. And he's like, no, I can't let you take a hostage. And he just shoots his own guy in the chest. I love a dastardly villain.
Yeah, it was perfect. And he's there for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, this guy is in and out of the movie because they bring Sam and Reg down to the basement, and he actually name drops e-ticket, which is like a theme park term, which I was like, I totally blown it. Like, that's a pretty niche weirdo term these days. And so like back then, I don't.
Well, maybe, were they still using tickets?
No, I feel like that got phased out in the 70s.
Probably.
E-ticket was like the big super duper rides at Walt Disney World and Disneyland.
You had A, B, C, D, and E.
Right.
With A being like Small World, E being like Space Mountain.
Right. And now, like, theme park nerds like ourselves use e-ticket to describe, like, any new big major attraction going in anywhere. But, like, I mean, this is probably just me, like, misunderstanding fandom and nerddom through the era. But it's like, now it makes sense that term is around. Back then, it's, like, genuinely surprising to me that they would have known that, you know, use that term colloquially. Because he's like, this is the e-ticket attraction. He starts doing Russian roulette at Sam.
Yeah. Sam also drops the TV on their heads from above.
Yeah.
But she gets their attention first.
Yeah.
I was like, don't do that. Just drop it.
Drop 2 or 3 at once. Try to get them all.
Yeah. So the scientists come in and just mow everybody down.
We get that classic thing where it's like someone's about to shoot a gun. We hear a gunshot. Oh, whoops, someone shot the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. And then they just turn them all into Swiss cheese.
Oh, they just blow these dudes away. They basically turn them into brick dust via bullet.
Yes.
Military bullets, actually, if I'm not mistaken, given they are
military bullets. And then It's real. Again, this movie likes to go real fast. Like,
Yes.
they don't give you a second to like process what's happening, because all of a sudden, Reg is on a helicopter being taken to the base, and they're like, "Well, Sam's blood. Sam has a rash, and her blood test says maybe she's not a great fit. So I guess she'll just stay here and we'll kill her." And I was like, "Wait, can I?
Can you explain what you're doing, please?" So we're
10 seconds.
We're with the female scientist whose name is
Audrey.
Okay, I had her last name written down somewhere in here.
White.
Okay. She's with the glasses scientist, and the glasses scientist is like, "Well, how's about you and me make use of this bed here in this department store?" And she's like, "Hey, super not interested. I'm murdering a child right now, if you didn't notice."
Definitely doing some child murdering, buddy.
And so she injects Sam with something and then shoots the glasses scientist.
Yeah. And I love that she's like takes. I wish we had a little more explanation of like what was happening before this was all happening, because we have to like piece it together.
Yeah.
We have to like catch puzzle pieces in the air and then put them together in our hands as we catch
more
other
are
pieces.
Falling. Yes, exactly. There's like no time to sit and put this together. So Hector returns to the radio station dressed as Santa Claus. And the scientist, I like it very much. And he's like, "Merry Christmas, I'm coming with gifts." And wait, you're not Sam or Reg. And she has the glasses on and she's holding a gun and she's pointing at him. She's like, "You need a gun?" And he's like, "No, I got one." She's like, "All right." And she just kind of casually throws it on the couch next to her.
Like, I wrote all the information you'll need down. Some of the spelling is wrong because my brain is going. Yeah. And I was like, "Can we read that?"
Yes, exactly. She's acting like she's 6 Chardonnays in, which I really think is like appropriate for the circumstances.
It's exactly the right energy.
And so she's like, "Well, she was right. You're pretty cute. Anyway, gonna die now," and she injects herself.
As she's talking, she's like, "You're pretty cute," and she pulls out the vial, pulls out the syringe, is talking to him as she like fills the syringe, and she's like, "Anyway, skidoo," and injects herself.
Yeah, so she dies, and Hector is very confused. So he's got pages of these handwritten notes he has to parse through, which I guess he does. We don't see him do that.
Yeah. They're interviewing Reg back at the base, and they're prepping the children to be sucked dry like a juice box.
Yes. We basically have learned at this point through the conversation with the scientists that they were exposed and they want to make a serum from the survivor blood to try to save themselves. But they're like running against the clock here.
Yeah. And so they basically like have to just like squeeze the whole juice box and hope something works.
Right.
But it is super lame that they were like, "We left a vent open with the fans running and we all got in," and I'm like, well, then what? Is it a visual thing? Is it a breathing thing? Like what?
I mostly find fault with it because everybody would be dead then. Like Reg would also have breathed air and all that stuff. Like I needed him to be like, "We thought we were protected by our special glass, but we weren't."
Mm-hmm. Also, before the one guy leaves the room, Reg is like, "Where's my sister?" And he's like, "She's dead. I'm sure it's shocking, but your sister's dead," and just shuts the door.
Yeah, she's like, "Wait a minute, what did you say?"
And so when the guy comes in to get her, he looks at her and then sees the like heart monitor thing just like knocked the fuck over. The whole like cart and the thing on the ground. He's like, "Now I'm sure you're very upset, but is it really so childish as to break things, some expensive equipment?" And I was like, "Please hit him."
And then he bends over to pick up stuff, and she just clobbers him wrestler style. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, these other 2 scientists are like drawing blood from these zombie guys, and they're debating, and they're like, "Oh, we have to draw blood from the kids. How much?" And the one's like 300 cc. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that's too much. That's 10 ounces."
Is it?
Yeah, that's not even half of a pint, or it's just over half of a pint. And a human body has between 6 and 8 pints. I forget which. 8 pints. I feel like it's 8.
I was gonna say 16. So
maybe a kid has 6. But anyway, they're like, "That's too much blood." That's not too much blood, unless it's like an actual baby.
Well, I wonder if it's supposed to show that they're losing it, because she's like, "I can't remember how much we're supposed to take out of them."
No, definitely they're supposed to be like their brains are going.
Hector and Sam break in to the underground lab. Reg ends up in the blood room and gets slapped, and I was like, "How dare you?" There's also this great shot where it's Sam's legs and the elevator doors open. It's like we're ground level looking at just her feet and like her calves. The elevator door opens. She steps out. Kind of, you can see her kind of look around, and then she walks one way. Not only is it not Sam's feet, it is not a real elevator.
Yeah.
So Reg gets the gun away from her captor, rescues the children with Sam, and then they strap the lady scientist down to the table and give them the giggle gas they were going to give the kids, because they were like, or they told the kids like, oh, if you breathe this in, you'll wake up and see Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's pretty dark that they're like telling these kids like, oh, don't worry, we're just going to gas you to death.
It's gruesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's like between 12 and 15 pints in a human body, apparently.
I was right. It's like, I was 16. I was close.
Yeah.
So in these last like 5-7 minutes of the movie, the scientists get progressively more and more makeup to look more and more like the zombies.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I also really like Hector. When Hector rolls up, he's wearing a cowboy hat and driving a convertible and like blasting country music, like really drawing attention to himself. And then when the guard is like, what the hell? He's like, yeehaw, partner, I'm here to kick your ass, basically.
He's a method actor.
Yeah, definitely. And I also like, I also like the little bit with like the little Rochambeau where Sam is hiding in the trunk and then Hector clobbers him at the top of the trunk.
Yes. Oh my God, it was great. Because he's like, do you like women? Take a look at this woman, and pops the trunk. And he's like, they just knocked her out. And when the guard leans in, she grabs him and he slams the trunk down.
Yeah. So while Reg is fighting her way through the lab, Hector is climbing under the scientist cars with dynamite.
Mm-hmm. And so they drive away.
I also want to point out one line reading that I had noted here and I forgot. When they do the whole like Santa thing, the little girl's like, "Oh, I'd like to meet Santa," and the older boy's like, "Are you kidding? Santa's not real." And the scientist goes, "What?"
I missed that.
Exactly like that. And she goes, "You don't believe in Santa?" But her
please drop that audio in.
I don't know. That's gonna be kind of hard to do, but she seriously is just like, "What?"
I don't remember that.
It's so weird.
You'll live with Santa Claus for the rest of your life. Hey, there's no such thing as Santa Claus.
What?
So they start to drive away and then stop, and then Hector turns around to taunt the scientists, and he's like, basically just like middle finger guns, just like pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
And then they turn on the car and it explodes.
Well, yes, you're going so fast. Also, like, there's a bunch of good scenes here. The lady scientists, they strap to the bed and turn
I did that one already.
Okay.
That's why I brought up the giggle gas.
Okay.
They strap the lady scientists down and give them giggle gas.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you say that. I must have been looking up how many pints of blood were in the human body.
I think you were.
Very important information.
Well, I remember at the Franklin Institute, they have a scale thing where you step on a scale and then a cylinder fills up with blood to how much blood you would have in your body.
Oh, okay. Really good explosion with the car.
It's such a good explosion.
Really, really delightful. And then you think it's over and they do the classic, like, one last gag. A zombie grabs the little girl and Hector saves the day, like, clobbers the zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the next day, I guess. It's daylight.
I would have liked a title card here to be like, a week later.
1 week later, yeah. How far is it? Because the kids are wearing, like, really nice clothes, like, almost like they're going to a wedding. And
it looks like they're like Easter church, like
Easter
church pictures.
Yeah, for sure. And Sam, or Reg rather, is taking a picture of them, and then like Hector's there, and he's wearing a suit for some reason. It's just very weird that she has them all dressed up.
It's basically like these 18-year-olds have adopted these children.
Yes, but also I think Hector's a little older because he's like a trucker. But Reg's outfit looks like a spacesuit, like a bad sci-fi movie spacesuit.
A little bit, yeah. And then they cut over. Sam's wearing a bathing suit with a sarong.
Yes, and Hector's like throwing all these guns in the trash, which I don't understand what the point of that is.
Yeah, I like, you have the 5 minutes to spare movie.
Yeah.
Give me a little something.
But also, like, you might need those.
Yeah.
So, They have like a really kind of amusing fight over like whether or not they should obey the crosswalk, and Reg is like, we have to uphold society, and Sam is like, this is not an important part of it when there are no cars. And so of course she's like walking across, and a car comes tearing ass around the corner with like a very dude bro douche in there, and he's like, hey, want to go for a ride? And she's like, absolutely.
No, he says, hey, you shouldn't cross against the light like that. That's dangerous.
Yes. And then she gets in with him and they drive away. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we should have let you know where we were going to go. No? Okay. Bye.
Also, it's the guy with the high score.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's DMK.
Oh, did you? Oh, the license plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that part. So we're supposed to think he's good enough for her because he also is good at video games.
Yeah.
And then as the credits roll, we get another great song, and Hector and the boy are like throwing a football, and Reg is taking Polaroids of them doing this, and that's the end of the movie.
I'm surprised I haven't watched this movie sooner.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had heard about it and like kind of had it on the radar as a potential one to watch for myself beyond the show. And this just lined up really great. But yeah, I think this is super duper fun. I had a great time watching it, which is something that I don't say very often while doing movies for this show.
It was a joy.
And honestly, it's like my favorite thing we do with this show is like I discover something that I was either mildly aware of or something like that. But, getting to discover something really fun and great rules. And so it's like, oh man, this is like something I would recommend to people in my real life as well as listeners to this show. Like even people who weren't predisposed to like the same kind of stuff that we do because you listen to this. I think this is a really good movie. It's a really unsung 80s movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It was streaming on Prime. It seems like that has been over as of October 1. So
yeah. But there is a way to, if I just searched watch Night of the Comet and this website called Taboo or Tubi came out.
I've been finding a lot of stuff for this show and elsewhere on Tubi lately. It's ad supported, but it's not too obtrusive.
So I was watching, and I think there were supposed to be several ads. They just didn't play, and I only had to watch like maybe 90 seconds of ads total.
Okay. Did it interrupt the movie, or was it just at the beginning?
Like 2 spots.
Okay.
But like,
yeah, I'm just curious how they had it set up. But yeah, it's really not as obnoxious as I watched something on Crackle once and I got really annoyed by the volume of the ads in there, which I get, like it's ad supported, but yeah, I'm a millennial who doesn't tolerate ads anymore.
I know.
If you haven't checked it out, make sure you jump over to the Patreon page, patreon.com/dissecting80s. There's free posts right now for our Halloween Horror Night stuff. You can see a photo gallery and also our video of the encounter with the Velociraptor, which is really fun. It was very sweet on Andrew. He must have been very into you, I think, the dinosaur operator. But that was super awesome, and our Patreon supporters made it happen. So if you'd like to support the show and be one of those folks, it's patreon.com/dissecting80s. There's a tier for everybody, and you get great stuff on all of them. So take a look. We're very close to the bonus commentary track. If we hit that level, we'll do a commentary track, and we'll let the Patreon folks vote on what that will be. And we might do it as a drunkmentary. We'll see. We'll decide depending on what the movies are, but that would be perhaps a little bit fun. But yeah, check that out there. As I said at the top of the show, get out there and review the show. Review it. Review the show. You can do it. Stop being lazy. It takes 1 minute. God. But yeah, any other Night of the Comet thoughts? I guess I should have asked you that before I started spieling there.
No, it's a strong recommend.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a real good movie. It's a solid way to spend 80 minutes of your time. It's not very scary, I will say. Like, it's not super good for Halloween necessarily. I thought it was going to be a little scarier than it was. But even with that taken into account, it's still just a boatload of fun. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I love that it's 2 strong women who, like, only at one point in the movie do they need to be rescued by someone who isn't each other, which I really like.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, we are less than a week away from our live show at Baltimore Podcast Festival. That'll be October 12th. It is on The Lost Boys, which I'm very excited to talk about. If you want to hear it and you're not near Baltimore, sign up for Patreon at the $5 tier, and you'll get to hear it probably October 13th if all goes according to plan, but worst case, within like a week. So you'll be able to hear that then. And you'll get a bunch of extra bonus episodes too. So check out the Patreon and support the show if you can. Patreon.com/dissectingthe80s. Get in touch with us at dissectingthe80s.com. Email dissectingthe80s@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at dissectthE80s. Or if you want to leave us a message, you can always call 856-DISSECT. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed the first edition of the Spooktacular. We love this time of year and really enjoy digging into the horror movies, as all of you who listen to this regularly, I'm sure, are already aware. We are celebrating another anniversary when we return to you in 2 weeks, and that is the movie Death Spa. Not to be confused with Killer Workout, which I confused it with several times, even in the course of trying to find it to watch it. Not Death Spa, not Killer Workout, also not Aerobicide, which is a different name for Killer Workout. Death Spa. Death Spa. 89 30th anniversary. So, I have been Tripp Leno.
I will always be Andrew Leno.
Until October 21st.
Don't you forget about me.
Dissecting the 80s is a Chum Some of This production.
Things we're gonna cut out in editing.
It's your empowered badass ladies of the 80s. Some guy about your... Fuck me. I knew it was too long.
So, with all that being said, I've been Tripp Leno.
I will always be Andrew Leno.
Wait, we forgot to tell him what movie it is.
You're right.